Okay, hopefully we'll finish it with this time. We're having a lot of communication issues. Very new because I gave this Zoom twice now, and this is the first time this is happening. So hopefully we'll finish the Zoom this time. I left off at right here. Um, okay, left off at this slide here. So we'll start from this. Hopefully everything is going to go okay, and we'll finish it this time. Oops. So traditional maps are sometimes proven more accurate, and helpful than Western maps and even satellites. Amazingly enough, because from various articles I read about indigenous mapping in Central and South America, Spanish researchers prefer to use native maps because they're more accurate and alive than Western maps. Because the tribes even mapped anthills, native people always story orient their maps, and it makes them more helpful to anyone using them, because you know why everything's where it's at, and if you're an educated person, you can derive a lot from that. If you know the story behind why mountains there, um, there are proven cases where indigenous tribes saved 1.2 million hectares, 4 million acres by taking control of resource management and mapping in the Amazon. They know the land because they're the only ones there. They're the biggest stakeholders because it's not just maps and management, it's their livelihoods that depend on that. Just one second, this thing is in the way here. Yeah, it's their livelihoods and very survival. It's not just like maps and studies to them, it's like their survival. Um, Yeah, family areas. I already discussed that earlier. Gideon says that the entire state of Alaska was likely covered with these. The entire Gwich'in country is a web of trails, says Norman Flint in Fort Yukon. As you can see, that's not even including place names there. If I put the place names on, you wouldn't even see those trails. That's how congested all of it was. Place names and landmarkers like you see that place not near Jal, it's called in Gwich'in, and you see the shape of the lakes. There's really, and the reason near Jal means in old Gwich'in it means a baby duck playing around in the water, and as you can see how the lake, the creek is shaped here, it's it almost seems like the water trails of a baby duck playing in the water, which is amazing because how did they know how that looked? There wasn't planes or satellites back then. This was like 1,000 years ago or something, or could have been. So I just thought that was amazing that they knew how it looked from that far up. Nuntrikit, and Gwich'in on land, that would mean a gorge. On the river, it would mean a deep part of the river. Uh, so just to give you an idea of how complicated old Gwich'in mapping can get. Like, look at Robert. This is just one elder's map. Look how complicated and voluminous it is, and I did like 30 elders like this. Uh, See why I didn't go to medical school? um, Retrace Robert with his travels on the land. He retraced his grandpa Johnny Frank's trails. He revived some of the trails by walking on them again. He connected the place names. Um, he found remnants of gold camps in the cable crossing, the ferry crossing for gold camps, which has archaeological value. He found a meteorite, the trail of a meteorite. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. We're back on. Sorry, that was a smaller glitch there. That was a smaller glitch. Where Okay, I'll just keep going. It's recording, so As I was saying with Robert Frank's map, yeah, he found the gold remnants of a gold camp and the cable crossing to it. So there's archaeological value there. He found a meteorite and the trail of a meteorite where it slid into the ground on one of the native trails. Hey, Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay, try again. Just so annoying. So okay. Um, Instead of going full screen, maybe I'll work. I don't want to overwork the computer and make it go off again. So I'll just go from. I'll just do it from here. Um, so with Robert's map, I was just saying that he found remnants of the gold camp, which has archaeological value. He found meteorites and their trail and a trail for the meteorite, one of the native trails. So there's meteorological meteorological value to these native maps because, like I said, they're the ones out there. They find all this stuff. So it goes beyond just hunting, fishing. I mean, beaver trapping areas, lookout hills, which were important for the flats. Rediscovering his grandpa Johnny's cabins, trails, caches, making new trap lines for tracing elder trap lines in the mountains for marten and trails in the south for muskrat, lynx, and beaver. He traveled on the government trail, so there's government and military value because of they actually made the government trail a part of their native trail, which was really interesting. Um, because it fell into disuse after the mine shut down in the early 20th century. Caro, I'm talking about, obviously. This is just one elder I interviewed, and you could see how the breadth and the volume of information he gave, and there was like 40 elders, which resulted in a 530-page report. The creeks, so at the beginning of a creek, they would call it like this is Otter Creek. In Gwich'in, Otter is Tra. So Traclit would be the beginning of a creek. Tra-Injit would be the main body of a creek. And then Tra-Ik would be the mouth of a creek where it feeds back into a river. So Gwich'in, we're aware of the origin, the main creek, and the end of a creek. The creeks, as you can see how complicated the knowledge, Gwich'in knowledge was of creeks. There would be Injik, a normal creek or a large creek with rough water and less fish population. It would be a slough. O is a creek with calmer water and more fish in it, where Injik would be one with rougher water and less fish in it. Uh, Kite, sorry, Kite is a creek behind willows. Um, Chichoko means a creek with large boulders in it. So yeah, you get the idea. They have a description for all sorts of creeks. There was complex moose hunting. I think you saw this already, Michelle. I think I put in the paper to you, where they were even aware of the limitation of view sheds of hunters. Lake anatomy, according to Dr. Hadley West, a guy that did an anthropologist that spent time with people in Arctic Village in 1973. I found his dissertation at the university and I added his information to this report. Um, there, the head of a lake, as you can see right there with the picture, they would call Ted Lake. The main body of the lake would be Bunt Eklin, which is the belly of the lake, and the Chat Lake would be like the butt or the rear end of the lake. And the stream going into the lake would be Bun Lai, and then the stream going out. Sorry, Vinlai, Vinlai. Vinlai is a totally different thing. It's a beginning of beginning of a series of lakes. Vinlai is a stream going in a lake. Um, Van's unha Lee means a stream going out of the lake. Um, Kathy Tritt interview with her Gwich'in woman. She said the big fish the reason they had to know a lake like this is because the big fish they stay in the deep parts, the littler fish stay in the shallower parts. So they would know this, and that's how they would fish. Gwich'in knew where to fish them. It was also good to know the. Oh yeah, this is so
All right,
annoying.
I got you. That's okay. You got to anybody drown. We got
What was that? Oh, say that again. Oh,
you got to the anatomy of the lake in case someone,
oh yeah, yeah. In case somebody
yeah, the anatomy of the lake in case someone drowned.
yeah, in case somebody drowned, it was helpful for that too, because Kathy said if you oh no, she didn't say this. I'm the one that figured this out. I like if someone drowned on the lower left belly of the lake and Gwich'in said that to each other. Oh, he tipped over at the